Welcome to Tavetta Talks. I am Tavetta, and the topic of discussion is normalizing the word no. Joining me for this necessary conversation is the one and only Joslyn Kelly. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And thank you for being a part of my book reveal team back in August of 2021. I want to begin with you sharing what was your relationship with the word no as a child, teen, young adult?
So I did not like no. No to me was denial of the things that I wanted or that I wanted to do because I felt denied. It was difficult for me, even in adulthood, to say no to someone else because I knew what no did to me as a child, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And I hear that answer more often than not. And it helps me understand why sometimes people struggle with saying no. So today, what is your relationship with the word no? How do you see it today?
It's still a struggle because there are some lasting effects, and no still has a sting. It still carries a heavy sting. But the difference is that I'm resilient. And so even though I hear a no, I'm going to keep pushing forward because my conscience is telling me it's a yes. So you have to keep pushing until you get that yes. Now that's for things that I do. People telling me no, again, it feels like a denial. And I still struggle with it impacting how I see myself. I still got a ways to go. I can embrace no now. It becomes easier because now I'm seeing that no as a barrier of protection. My worth is not compromised with me saying the word no. I see a pathway of hope on the other side when folks tell me no. It's progress.
Yes, and we celebrate progress. You know that, Jocelyn. I want you to share specifically maybe 1 to 3 things that you said no to in life so that you can say yes to the life of your dreams.
I used to be a smoker, right? So I said no to smoking cold turkey some 20 plus years ago, right? And that no gave me a new outlook on life. One, my clothes didn't smell like smoke. It was something that could help my health. And 3, something that could help my wealth. So those were 3 things that were impacted by me saying, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I said, no, I'm not going to give up on my business, on living. So a perfect example in 2018, 2018, the business was doing incredible, but I was not managing things the way that I should. And so at that time, I had a financial advisor that I had gone to. And when I went to go speak to him about what was going on, he said, you should get a divorce. You should close the business down because nothing is working out for you. And so if I allowed his condemnation over how and what my full belief was poured into, the opportunities that I yet sit in and I'm working towards would have never come to be. Me saying no and choosing myself has afforded me love, business opportunity, and innumerable growth on how I see myself. No, I'm not going to give up on life. So on December 4th, 2014, my son committed suicide. The easy answer would be, I'm going to go do what he did. And I'm just going to bow out. But in essence, I said no to giving up, yes to redefining how I choose to live my life. Love to live, and when it's hard, and I feel like I can't hold on, I'm gonna tie a knot, and I'm gonna live for those things that I love. And so those are three powerful examples of no and how has defined me.
I was just having a moment to reflect on several things about what you just said. One, the faithfulness of God, it never leaves you.
Never.
Two, what you've been able to accomplish with your business, with the life of your son, and the light that he was in this world. This city would look different if that light was not there. So thank you for making those decisions. That's a huge deal. Yeah, I celebrate those no's and everything that it opened the door to. And so today, let's talk about assignment, because every person has an assignment for being on the earth. And so what do you do to stay focused enough to remain in alignment with your assignment?
I don't like whoopings, and I definitely don't like divine whoopings. And with that being said, I'm a firm believer in the word, and thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I'm a true believer that it's going to be his will regardless. So I can give in voluntarily, or it could be involuntarily. And the involuntary are those whoopings that I just talked about. So what keeps me faithful is with all my heart and all my might, believing and continue to hold on to faith, even when the obvious says it's not going to happen. I truly believe God does not give us a vision without provision. And what has kept me steadfast and has grown my resilience is my faith, is my belief, is that spirit within me, that agape spirit that says all things will work together for those of them who love the Lord. And I honestly and wholeheartedly believe that everything is possible because of him. God has allowed and opened up doors that are beyond my expectations, that are beyond what I have studied, that is beyond what the world says I should be able to accomplish. And again, my name is being spoken in rooms that I could have never imagined, planned, or tried to negotiate or maneuver. And that's beyond me. And that's only by the grace and the mercy. And so that's the only way that I can explain it. It's beyond me.
That's so good. So let's talk about, let's say it's a person who's overly concerned with trying to please people. And so they just say yes to everything.
They're going to crash into a wall. Done it, been there, got a t-shirt, tattoo, and everything else to prove it. We all have separate journeys. We all have separate paths. And there will become a time or an experience that will cultivate them to know I'm enough. I matter. My worth is innumerable. It can't be measured. I do what I do and I do it well. So therefore, I am who I am, and I don't have to please you or the next person, because everybody has an opinion. But we all have a path, and you know what's right. You have it in your gut. Everything aligns when you're doing what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to. There were years that I struggled with purpose, especially when I was in corporate. I took all of the personality tests. I went through all of the things. Well, what do you think I should do? And I asked this of a lot of people for the first 40 years of my life. And things began to happen that kind of pushed me into my lane. And as I started to give way of allowing other people to define me and accepting myself for who I am and seeing the great things about me and working on the things that weren't so great, then it's afforded me the opportunity to say, oh, I'm good. This is really spiritual, huh? You know how Jesus had to go away and he went to the mountaintop to be by himself, to edify himself for his journey? We all have that experience. And my experience was I had lost my business. I had lost my home. And it was the perfect opportunity for me to escape. And I moved to Dallas, Texas. And this was my spiritual awakening. I left here with $2,000 in my pocket, my car, my TV, my clothes. First thing that it was a blessing was I found an apartment in a beautiful area for $444 a month that included washer and dryer and cable. That was nobody but God. During those times, I spent all day looking for jobs. So I had time to myself to get back in touch with me. That was my spiritual journey to strip everything away. Matter of fact, the job that I ended up getting, the real job I ended up getting, I never forget, never had an interview like this in my life. I went to the interview and the lady said, well, I'm looking at your resume. I don't know if you live in Dallas or you live in Chicago. I said, well, I live in Dallas, but I'm from Gary, right outside of Chicago. She says, okay. She says, so if this works out, you can work in either office. And if you ever have an emergency, you can just go and work from home or the Chicago office because I manage both. God. So I said, okay, great. One of the questions she asked me, she says, if you could pick a song to be the song of your life, your theme song, what would it be? And I sat there and I said, Survivor. I wouldn't say that today because I do more than survive. But at that point in time, Survivor, because I was coming through these challenges and I had survived them. But unbeknownst to me, that journey allowed me to survive, but break through so that I could live abundantly. And you never know where your no's or your yeses or your path will take you, but God does, because he sees all of this even before we have any inkling of what's going on. So there is a lesson and blessing in absolutely everything. And it's about our journey that he has bestowed, that he has carved out specifically for you and I and everyone to fulfill what he needs for his kingdom and the edification of that kingdom.
Well, once again, I thank you for the whole sermon you just shared. Thank you for sharing your journey to being clear about your no and clear about the value of your yes. Thank you for your time. Continue success and progress in every area of your life, Joslyn. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Tavetta.